Today was the last show for Glenn Beck on Fox News Channel, and we are hoping that it brings an end to a crazy era that came along with Glenn Beck. But first, Glenn Beck said goodbye to his audience today.
We are starting to take the set apart, and this is the last episode of the Glenn Beck program from New York. Good night, America.
It almost makes me tear up. Glenn, where have you gone? Memories. No, I'm not going to say. All right. But you know what? We have put together a nice little compilation of the wonderful, zany times of Glenn Beck.
Thanks for the memory.
This president, I think, has exposed himself as a guy over and over and over again who has a deep-seated hatred for white people. This guy is, I believe, a racist.
He's going to send millions of Americans into modern-day slavery.
You are the secret. You're the answer.
No harm done, so
There is a strange alliance between the left and the Islamicists that we're seeing. Beck connected the violence in Egypt to, among other things, Islamic socialists. Yes. Marxist communist. Yes. I'm sorry. I just love my country. Nazi tactics are progressive tactics. But that's what Mussolini did. That's what Hitler did. That's what Stalin did. That's what Mao did. Marxist, communist, revolutionaries.
and thank you so much.
But look, this isn't just about Glenn Beck. We're hoping that the demise of Glenn Beck is actually the demise of this crazy conspiracy theory times, right? And as you see Beck's audience dwindle down, you began to get hope, not because you're against Beck, but because it gives you a sense of hope that maybe people aren't that crazy. So first quarter of 2011, for example, his audience was down 27% overall. In the Delta 2554, which is the demo that they care most about in television, it was down 46%. And you're hoping the American people look at it and go, well, you know what, I'm just not that crazy and I'm not that into this guy anymore. And it's not just Glenn Beck. As you see, look, Donald Trump came and went, and he was full of conspiracy theories, and that didn't work. Birtherism looks to be finally dead. And even Michelle Bachmann is beginning to say, hey, you know what, maybe Obama is not unpatriotic. And you know what, there are a lot of things I wish I said differently, she said. So is it the end of the crazy era? One could only hope. All right, with me now, a man who spent a lot of time keeping Beck honest, Eric Boehlert, Senior Fellow with Media Matters for America. Eric.
Yeah.
All right, great to have you here. First off, what do you think was the one thing that really started his demise?
Oh, the clip you showed when he called the president a racist and said Obama, who was raised by his white mother, had a deep-seated hatred for white people. 100 weeks ago, he made that statement. That was the beginning of the end, because the statement was shocking and insulting and completely irresponsible. Fox News' reaction was shocking, insulting, irresponsible. No reaction, basically. That opened the door for the most successful advertising boycott, I think, in the history of television. 400 advertisers said to Fox, keep us away from him. We're not going to touch him. Media Matters had some great reporting this week. The show on after Beck, basically the same ratings, was able to charge 3 times as much as his show because they had no advertisers.
No, it's amazing. He lost 400 advertisers overall.
If they had gotten 6 advertisers to drop the show, it would have been a headline. They got 400.
That's amazing. And in Great Britain, he was down to 0 advertisers.
Right.
That's fascinating. And so you think that all these volatile comments, after a while, advertisers said, come on, this is beyond the bounds of reason. I mean, they're not even boycotting O'Reilly, Hannity, nobody else. Just Beck. He was way out of bounds.
Right. He had made he debuted inauguration week of Obama, immediately started in on the Nazi stuff, immediately started Obama's going to take your guns. This armed insurrection nonsense. But it's when he crossed over that line and called the President of the United States a racist, and Fox basically backed him. That was the beginning of his demise. Yes, he lined his pockets. Yes, he had some nice ratings along the way. But the ratings and the revenue and his relevance all dissipated.
Now, you guys were tracking it all along, and it drove him crazy. He's like, stop quoting me. What's the matter with you, right? But he pretended to be indifferent, and he, in fact, taunted you guys. I want to show you a clip of that.
Media Matters. Oh, they're great. Yeah, I know. That's in the Media Matters. Now, look, you see, some of the George Soros-funded, Hillary Clinton-created liberal blogs named me, as I told you earlier, Misinformer of the Year. Oh, by the way, Media Matters. Come here, you snuggums. Oh, you're so cute. How's that working out for you? I still have a job. Man, you guys suck. You really do.
So,
well,
Eric, go ahead.
You know, he was even saying, up until this week, Media Matters had nothing to do with us leaving. And he's really, when he's saying Media Matters, he's saying the whole progressive community, liberals, Democrats, they had nothing to do with us driving us off the air. But then this week he was making fun of the party Media Matters threw in his honor. It's very thin skin, and he knows what drove him off the air. It was a progressive movement. Media Matters helped. A lot of people were behind it. And we made a stand. We sent a message. This is not acceptable. You cannot. This is not what the political discourse should be about.
And by the way, again, all you did was quote him. That's all. Right. So it's not like you had some sort of campaign other than, hey, this is what this guy is saying. That's it.
We're not into creative editing like the folks on the right are. We just post what he says and transcripts and let the chips fall where they may.
So one last thing. Gawker had an interesting piece today about Roger Ailes. They went into Nixon's library and found out that he actually had been planning all along, since 1970, quote, a plan for putting the GOP on TV news. And that he'd come up with that for Nixon.
Yes.
Is that what Fox News is, basically?
It is. Ailes tried it earlier, didn't have the money. There wasn't cable TV didn't exist as it does today. But this is basically his second run-through. And really, you joke, but now it all makes sense. I mean, this was the Nixon-Haldeman plan. You create the facade of a news organization when it's essentially a propaganda machine.
Yeah, no, it is a very interesting story. All right, Eric Boehlert for Media Matters. Interesting day for you guys. Thank you for joining us.